Hi, I'm Liam, and today I have with me is Layla, and I'm here to talk about what's strong, not wrong about Rhyl. So what do you think is strong but not wrong about Rhyl?
I think that the good things about Rhyl is Queen's Market, but they tell kids to leave at 6, and then that doesn't give us time after to do anything.
So what you're saying is that you feel like it's a bit too harsh on the kids and you feel like there's nothing you can do after school?
Yeah, and they should give us more time to do something after school.
Which is actually understandable because, it's going to make it feel more... You're going to end up getting bored and you wouldn't know what to do, would you? You want to make yourself, be more happier and you know what you're doing. Because if you're just walking around the streets, what is there to do? Everywhere's closed. Shops close after 5 o'clock in Rhyl, and there's literally nothing to do. So, I get where you're coming from, but what could be better is that maybe they could open a facility like a youth club for people to do every single week, because youth clubs aren't open for as long as they should be. But I think if they made a facility like Queen's Market, but just for teenagers, they could have an indoor football area or something like that, or a beauty area for young females to do their makeup and stuff. That'd be better, And they could put that money in towards doing that, and that would make it more better for teenagers to do then, and then you wouldn't be bored as much then.
Yeah, they should definitely have an after youth club, so there's things for kids to do, because going around in the streets, it annoys adults and all that, being loud. It's definitely better if they're open every day.
It does, yeah, and you wouldn't want to go around the streets, at night and stuff. It's too bad for you, especially when it's winter. When it's winter, it gets darker, and that's where we should have these things in place to make it safe for you, so that you don't feel frightened while walking around Rhyl, and that would make it more better. The more facilities, they could build something. They could literally build a building or a warehouse or something, and have loads of stuff for teenagers for you lot to do, and that would make this place much more happier for young people who are growing up in the town. And then they could be oh yeah, I recommend this place, and that'll bring more people in, and that's a good thing. You want more people to come there, and that just makes the town more popular as it is, and it makes it more better. So by doing that, it would actually help a lot by bringing in the money and young people into a warehouse or something like the Queen's Market, and making it more for teenagers, if you get what I mean. What's your idea? What is your idea that you think they should put in Rhyl?
Probably adding a youth club as this, but open every day, because activities to do, and it'll bring so many more people together.
How long do you reckon it should be open for?
A couple of hours, I'd say, because 2 or 3, because it'll give kids so much more time to do things, and then out, and then like you said, in winter it gets so much darker, and the danger kids have and all that.
Yeah, I reckon it should be about 3-hour session, because it gives you time to get home, get ready, have your tea before you come here. But the thing is, it's 2 hours isn't enough. 3 hours would be a whole lot better. You have time to put your feet up and relax, bond with new people, make friends. And that's what, youth clubs are all about. Meeting new people, getting out and about instead of just lying in bed all day, making, TikToks and, going viral by lying on your bed, recording a video. And I reckon going out there into, the world around you is more important, because it's as well, if you had a family member in England that came down here, you'd be able to say, oh yeah, there's a place where we can go here and have some fun, do you want to come along? And they'd be oh, let's find out. And then they can tell other people then, and then that would make it much more better for you. And not only that, if you go out more, you're less likely to get lost because you'll know where you're going then.
Yeah.
It's always like sticking to your natural instinct and always like being curious and observing what is around you. But as well, having one at least nearly about more than one in Rhyl, like different areas of Rhyl, because there's the prom end, you know. You shouldn't have people walking from the far end of Rhyl down here getting public transport paying to come down here just because they live on the far end of Rhyl. They should have one at least like at the back end of Rhyl coming towards like Rutland, but they should have more like different areas of Rhyl so that people don't have to travel and pay as much, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. They should spot places or youth clubs around, and it'll cause so many like kids to come together and get along more.
And that's the thing. There's loads of disused buildings that the council have knocked down. Why can't they keep those buildings for young people like us to go in and have fun, even though, yes, we have the youth club, and that is good enough, but if we had more, that would make it more better, and it would make it more fun, and then people would actually enjoy themselves then.
Yeah, and there's like kids going into places that are like abandoned and stuff like that, but they don't need to if we set up youth clubs around places with them buildings.
And I get the idea of that, and it's really, really good, because what you're saying is that you personally want that as well. Coming from your perspective, you want that in place. And I want that in place. But we have to think about as well, can the council afford that? Possibly they could, but if they couldn't, you have to give them the benefit of the doubt. They tried. But what I've always been told is, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again, because there's people out there that are being born and raised and they've got nothing to do in their life, and they get bored, and that causes stress. Whereas if they open stuff like that, they'll be happy and they'll be like, oh yeah, you know, Ryl's my home, you know, I like Rhyl. I want to enjoy it here, not be like, oh, I don't like Rhyl. You know, we want it to be a nice, welcoming place for people. And doing that with youth clubs makes it more better. What if someone was new and moved into the Rhyl environment and it was like, oh, what's to do around here? There could be a nearby youth club they could go to and be like, oh, let's go to the youth club, try that out. But, you know, there's not that there, and there's only one in Rhyl, which I think there should be more, like I said, because instead of people travelling, paying about, £2 on the bus to get up here, it's not fair. So people should be able to just walk in and walk there. So that's why I think what you said is actually a good point, because it saves money, it saves cost, and it's much more easier for people to enjoy themselves.
Yeah, it makes it such a better place as well for people to do things and get along more, because obviously, you know, and it'll just bring people together and everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we want the community to come together. We want people to come together and enjoy themselves. We don't want people going out, you know, feeling like a hard time. What if someone's had a rough day at school? You know, they might want to come to youth club and have a chill and be like, oh yeah, do you know what? I'm going to come here and, you know, ease myself and have like 5 minutes to myself because I've had a bad day at school. And that's why they should put them in there, because people may want to come to youth club for their own reflections, like, you know, and think to myself, what's going on here? What's going on? And that's why I think that doing that would help, like I said, relieve stress, and then everyone would be just happy as anything then, and then it'll be like all happy bunnies running around the field. So I think that's pretty much covered everything up. So I want to thank you for your time, for coming on here and, you know, speaking up about what's strong, not wrong about Rhyl. And it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you on this podcast.